who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in South Dakota so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Here on Fox Sports Radio, FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Breaking news in Major League Baseball as Commissioner Rob Manfred has ended the lifetime bans that were given to 17 deceased individuals, including Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson. In a statement, Manfred called the move a policy issue, stating the permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of disciplined individuals. In a letter to the attorney for Pete Rose, Manfred said a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. Pete Rose and 16 others, including shoeless Joe Jackson, have been taken off the permanently ineligible list by Major League Baseball. Now it's up to the Classic Baseball Era Committee to decide if they will be enshrined into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Celtics forward Jason Tatum had successful surgery to repair his torn right Achilles tendon, suffered the injury in last night's loss to the Knicks. The estate of Paul Allen announced they've begun the process of selling the Trailblazers. Pacers at Cavs Game 5, Nuggets at Thunder Game 5. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we are out of the gate on a Tuesday. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is back on Fox Sports Radio. I really appreciate you being a part of the program. It is always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me. Hope you've had a great Tuesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is live. Here's how you can listen on Fox Sports Radio, of course, across South Dakota. We love that. Also, on Twitter, you can stream the show live at Nate Brown Show. So if you have a Twitter account, follow the show and watch us live anywhere. We see you across the state there, Mitchell and everybody around South Dakota. So stream us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and watch us live. And YouTube's the other place. The Nate Brown Show, the YouTube channel is up live right now. Back and ready on a Tuesday. How about the guest lineup? Put it together today. Looks really, really good. There's a lot of stuff to hit tonight. A lot of stuff to hit, and some pretty big national stuff that I think you're going to be interested in. We'll get after it. Let's get going on a Tuesday. The Nate Brown Show featuring Mike Golic Jr. tonight. College football analyst, TNT Sports. Mike Golic Jr. is going to get us started. We'll go out to the Twin Cities. Former Northern State and Minnesota Golden Gopher basketball player Parker Fox. He's now a basketball analyst covering the Timberwolves for KFAN. He's live from the Twin Cities. The Wolves get it done last night. They need to get this done. I mean, that's how this feels to me. You got Steph out. I mean, the Wolves, some of these games have been competitive. Last night was competitive. I never really worried much about it. The late game last night, the Wolves got it done. They should be in good shape. We'll talk to Parker Fox. He guessed on this show 5-game series and the Wolves win. He didn't say Steph Curry was going to be out, but he said the Wolves win in 5. He might be right anyway. Parker Fox coming up from KFAN in the Twin Cities. Scott Pianowski's on, National Major League Baseball writer for Yahoo Sports. Big baseball night tonight. We'll tell you why coming up. Scott Pianowski's in, and Thor Nystrom's on as well. NFL draft analyst, college football analyst for Fantasy Life. Also covers the Vikings for Score North, and the Vikings in the news today. We'll get to that. Thor Nystrom is on. Tuesday looks good on the guest side. Let's get you going on the guest side for you if you want to be a part of the program. 605-720-1067, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Invite you on there. 605-720-1067. You got the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline and also the Barron's Wilson text line ready. Direct text the show on the Lister text line, 605-720-1067. Same number, you can direct text the show. That's the Barron's Wilson listener text line. We are all set with the housekeeping. Let's get going on a Tuesday. So we have to start today. Now, so here's what we do. We prep the show and take you behind the scenes here, the Nate Brown Show, and Matt Kearney, the great producer of the Nate Brown Show. So we prep the show, and I always try and approach it this way. There will be nothing scripted on this. So we're not going to write out monologues. We're not going to write out every segment. This is scripted, and some shows do that. That's fine. They got staffs that are huge. They got teleprompters. No teleprompters here. This is just Nate Brown off the cuff. Now, here's my deal. Everything's planned, nothing scripted. You following me on this? Everything's planned. We don't just go into this no prep, no plan, no segments, no nothing. Everything's planned from the biggest stories nationally down into the region, down into the state, down into the local towns. We try and cover on that. So everything's planned, nothing scripted. Now, this is what I asked today about our questions of the day. What's the hardest part of my show every day? Doing the questions of the day. I'm trying, hey, we got to figure out new questions, and they can't be recycled. We got to keep original content here on the show. So I asked Matt Kearney, I said, do a search on this. Have I ever asked this question of the day about Pete Rose? Because a lot of our questions of the day, they'll go national, we'll go South Dakota, we'll go high school, we'll go college. You know this if you've been listening to the show for a while. So question of the day, I said, have I ever asked the question of the day on Pete Rose and his banishment from baseball and what the audience thinks of this? And he's searching. We're looking. I mean, I thought I had. We've talked Pete Rose on this show before. I have not asked that question, so I said, well, here it is today. The big news of the day nationally just now this afternoon, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, has reinstated Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and others. These guys that are deceased now, he's reinstated them in Major League Baseball. And what does that mean? Rob Manfred doesn't decide who's in the Hall of Fame, right? So we all know that. He doesn't decide who's in the Hall of Fame, but he does decide, okay, who's going to, I guess, not be banned from baseball. And so that's the news release this afternoon, as Rob Manfred said, this is no longer a threat to the integrity of the game. This is a policy issue, and you can read through that. But I'm coming at it from this way. I've never asked the question of the day, would you vote for Pete Rose to get into the Hall of Fame? Because here's what they have to decide today. You may think it's great that Rob Manfred has reinstated Pete Rose, who just passed away in September, 83 years old. Pete Rose passes away in September. Rob Manfred reinstates him after this now, along with Shoeless Joe Jackson of the Black Sox scandal of 1919. So this is one of those things where people are thinking, well, is this now the time where Pete Rose is going to get into the Hall of Fame? Is this the one? I'm going to tell you today, I don't know the baseball writers. I have some writers that are on this show. Bob Nightingale, USA Today. He's one of the big ones. So we'll get to some of these guys. I've had writers over the years on that vote on the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't think many of the baseball writers, the old school writers, I don't think they're going to let Pete Rose in. Rob Manfred may have said today, Pete Rose is reinstated. And it's a huge headline, breaking news across all of the news platforms, sports platforms, obviously. And so I said, I want to ask the audience on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota, would you vote for Pete Rose for the Hall of Fame if you had a vote? Because here's what I think. The old school writers are going to guard the Hall of Fame. They guard the Hall of Fame. This is the ultimate sin in baseball, the gambling side of this. And people will say Pete Rose didn't bet against his team. He always bet for his team and all the stuff that comes out with that. But the baseball writers, they haven't considered Pete Rose. They haven't had to consider him for decades. They haven't had to consider him. And now I believe they're not going to listen to Rob Manfred. That's my guess is we're going to listen to Rob Manfred now that, well, Pete Rose is reinstated, so now we're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. So I'm going to tell you, the old school writers, to me, are not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. Now, I've had Bob Nightingale on, and I'm trying to remember now. I think Bob's a guy that said Pete Rose should get into the Hall of Fame. I don't want to misquote that, but I'll reach out to Bob myself. I believe he was one of the old school guys that said it's time to do it. It's time to put him in. So I'll make sure that that's the case. But there's a bunch of guys that will not send Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame. They won't. The baseball writers are going to take a stand. That's my belief. Now, will this new Eras division? Now, if you follow the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's kind of hard to do the voting. There's this new Eras division where they've added people in, and sometimes you think, well, how did this guy get into the Hall of Fame? Well, he got in through this Eras committee. These are newer guys and more than just writers that have been added to the committee to put people into the Hall of Fame. Will there be a push there? Will the Eras committee, the new version of the baseball evaluators, will they be able to push it over the top on a new era, on the Eras Hall of Fame? Will that be the same as, well, the baseball writers holding steady, and that's how you officially get into the Hall of Fame? You have to have the respect of the longtime baseball writers of America. That's how you get into the Hall of Fame. I don't think the writers are going to do it. I wonder if the Eras committee will look at it. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to ask you, would you vote for Pete Rose? What do you think the public sentiment is for Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame? So we've never asked the question of the day. Let's ask you. By the way, I'm going to ask my friend, my longtime listener, Chris. Chris, you're out there, right? Big baseball guy. He knows baseball from in and out. And Chris, what's your answer? Big baseball guy. I highly respect our listener, Chris, on baseball. So, Chris, what's the answer? Voting for Pete Rose now for the Hall of Fame just because he does get reinstated. That means he's eligible. He's reinstated by Major League Baseball. That means he's eligible. Would you vote for Pete? That's my question. Call us if you want to get in, 605-720-1067. Interested in how South Dakota views this, 605-720-1067. Listener text line is open and votes coming in. Let's get to some here. Pete Rose getting reinstated today. Would you vote for him to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame now? Is it time to let that past go? Is it time to let that pass go? Is his play worthy of the Hall of Fame? Well, we know that. I mean, I didn't have to watch Pete Rose every game to know. You look at his career, Pete Rose is a Hall of Fame player, but it's going to go down into this. Barry Bonds is a Hall of Fame player. Barry Bonds is a Hall of Fame player, correct? So Barry Bonds is out too. Pete Rose has been out. That's the thing. Are they Hall of Fame? Their play is. Will they get in? That's the question. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
I've been watching baseball since the late 50s.
Okay.
Nah, Pete, sorry, buddy.
Sorry?
The one, you know, Nate, I grew up around exorbitant horse track. And you hear of a trainer or somebody cheating, not giving you a tip on the race, but actually cheating.
Okay.
That hurts, you know. And what Pete Rose did, man, You just can't. You can't come back to it. And if you were going to do it, you should have put him in before he died.
Okay.
Joe Jackson, I could care less about. Barry Bonds is the greatest from about 1970 on.
Would you put Barry in from his cheating side?
I'd put him in right away.
You would. So that cheating is not Pete
That's
Rose.
Not cheating, Nate. Was it against the rules when if because we haven't really show me on a court paper where it says I'm guilty. Okay.
Okay.
Well, honestly, Nate, I know you know an attorney or two, maybe a judge.
Maybe.
Either guilty or not guilty. He hasn't been proven.
All right. So you'd go Barry, you wouldn't go Pete. That's interesting.
I love Pete, too, and I'm a gambler, and I tell you what, you can't do it.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thanks for getting in. Thanks for calling. 605-720-1067 is our number. With Pete Rose getting reinstated by MLB today, would you vote for him to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? That's my question of the day. We've never asked it. So Rob Manfred has reinstated him. My guess is it's going to be a really, really difficult thing for Pete Rose to make it. That's my guess. Just, obviously from the past, from the baseball writers' past. That's my guess. Let's see here. I want to see what the Twitter poll says. The Twitter poll, 89% of the Twitter audience tonight says, put Pete in the Hall of Fame. I would vote for him. His play is worthy. My goodness, 89%. I thought it might be that, but not that high. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Pete Rose absolutely needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Why? The play? The career?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So what if he gambled on games? He never bet against his own team. Doesn't matter. And, look at all the pro sports now. There's rules in place that say that they can't gamble. Darn well all the pro athletes are gambling. They've got third-party whatevers. Everybody's gambling. Heck, even NFL and MLB, they're promoted by gambling sites. Everybody's gambling. It's time to let Pete in.
Okay, that's why. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for getting on. That's an interesting take on that, and he's bringing it up to, hey, it's 2025, and look at all the sports gambling stuff in every league. Look at all the money being made by every league, and this used to be a big no-no, and the NFL would never get into that, right? Major League Baseball would never go down the DraftKings route and the sports betting. Sure they will. Sure they will, and they are. So that's interesting. Are pro athletes betting on sports? Well, we know that some football players have got popped, not necessarily for betting on their games that they're playing in, but there have been, the Calvin Ridleys, who else? I just remember these guys that have got popped for betting on games involving their team even when they were injured. So I don't know if everybody's doing it, but there are athletes doing it, so that's why you should let Pete in. Listener text coming in here, 605-720-1067 is the text line. Here's a listener text. Manfred made a huge mistake today. He might have washed his hands of this Pete Rose issue by letting the writers decide if Rose should get into the Hall of Fame. It took almost 25 years for Rose to apologize for it. He should have done it sooner, and he broke the one cardinal rule of the sport, never bet on it. He nor his family deserve the honor of the Hall of Fame, period. Youch. Youch. But I appreciate that text. 605-720-1067. Are we a little surprised that the Nate Brown Show audience on Twitter, I'm a little surprised it's that high. 89% say, I would vote for Pete. His play is worthy. His career is worthy. 11% that leaves, no, his mistake was too big. His mistake was too big. Just 11%. Listener text, this is a slippery slope. The game and its history is all about the numbers. The player's contract is all about the numbers they produce. You can't honor the numbers of any player that are from a rule breaker or a cheater. So you're referencing Barry Bonds there. See, you got all these things. You got all these balls in the air. You got the Pete Rose betting scandal. Did he bet on his team to win all the time? Well, that's what they said. That's what he said. Well, I bet him on never against my team. Okay. We don't know that for sure, but I guess I'll buy that, Pete, as he was alive. So I bet on him to win, but he bet on the game. Barry Bonds. Well, is he guilty for sure? Is he guilty? He was part of that steroids era. No, he never said, I did this and this and this. But there was a lot of stuff there, hearings. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of research done. Was that a bad look? Was the Barry Bonds thing a bad look? Well, it was. That's like the numbers. Do you honor Barry? I feel like Barry Bonds was a Hall of Fame player before he had the muscle growing out of his forehead. Okay? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Well, that's just exactly it. Pete Rose, as far as everybody knows, didn't bet on it while he was an actual player.
Right, yeah.
So what he did as a player should get him into the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
do you want to put an asterisk there, or you want to put something? I mean, the guy led in how many categories and still does to this day.
So you say end of story. His play, end of story.
Yeah, his play, end of story. While he was on the field, not as a coach, but while he was on the field, he did what he was supposed to do. And plus, I need resale value on my autographed jersey and bat.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean,
all right, hang on to that, would you? Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Nate.
All right. That's interesting. He said it's his play. End of story. His play. That's it. Can you separate Pete Rose, the player, from the manager and the scandal? It's an interesting way to look at it. My guess is this. Rob Manfred reinstated him today. The baseball writers will say no. This new version of, we brought in some newer people for this era's Hall of Fame, that might get it going a little bit, but I think it's going to be a steep uphill climb, even though he got reinstated today. First time in decades. Pete Rose reinstated, no longer banned. 89% of my audience on Twitter would say I would vote for him. Mike Golic Jr. is on to get us started. National college football analyst. Have you heard what the college football playoff wants to do? You know, the playoff, we got 12 teams. Did you hear what they're thinking they want to do now? And did you see what the NFL is going to do? The NFL, this next season, December 20th, mark that date down. What are we doing here? We'll discuss with Mike next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care. At participating stores.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Fuel your summer with unstoppable savings at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Save up to $6,250 on new GMC Sierra 1500 or choose finance rates as low as 0.9% for 36 months. Save up to $2,750 on select GMC Sierra HDs. Summer stock is arriving. Check out a great selection of the new Acadia, Yukon, Terrain, and Canyon.
Shop online anytime at spearfishmotors.com.
GMC, we are professional grade.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Lows level off around 55, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow, chance for storms, highs around 73. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night, chance for storms, lows dip down to about 48. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Fox Sports Radio Live. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thanks for being here. Coming up, Parker Fox from the Twin Cities covers the Timberwolves, former Northern player, Minnesota Gophers player, now NBA analyst, KFAN out of the Twin Cities. Wolves trying to get this done. They got it done last night. One more for the Wolves, and they're in the Western Conference Finals again. Parker Fox coming up from Minneapolis. Mike Golic Jr. is in right now, college football analyst, TNT Sports. He's on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. Mike, welcome in. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good today. I got a baseball question for you. I mean, you never thought you'd get that tonight, but I got a baseball. It's the big news. Pete Rose reinstated. Does Mike Golic Jr. think Pete Rose should go Hall of Fame? It's the debate of the day.
Yeah, I think in general, I have always been for figures maligned in sports for off-field issues, in the camp of if their on-field careers were worthy of Hall of Fame consideration. I tend to err on that side, and with Pete Rose, you do have the technicality of it was a lifetime ban. He is obviously no longer with us, and so the statute of limitations on that kind of runs out, and I think it does provide Major League Baseball kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card on this, so to speak, in the way of being able to honor this person, obviously, at a point where he's no longer around to receive the honor, in a way that maybe puts to bed one of the all-time sports debates.
All right. Well, at least for today. Let me get to this. So this isn't a surprise. Let's go college football. There's growing support for the playoff to go from 12 to 16. That would lock in 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten. When you think about, okay, is that okay with you? 4, go to 16, have some season-ending interleague play-in games. Like if the Huskers end up 6th, they could play the 3rd seed to get in. Do you like that model?
Well, I mean, I think it's an interesting model, especially for the crowd that purports to care about conference championships. If that is a group supporting that, it would be a little at odds with what we've heard from over the years. People worried about watering down those, as if having the teams that are 3rd and 4th or further down the pecking order play for some pseudo version of that as a get-in card is kind of an interesting idea to me. That being said, this all seems to be where it's going. I am one that always bristles a little bit at the notion of expansion because, again, You're adding more games to players' plates without their say-so in this. We've already seen physically the effects that the first round of the expanded playoffs had, where a lot of programs had to hold guys out for longer times going into the spring because they're coming off an extra grind of a season that most of these guys aren't used to. And so 16 means you'd be signing even more people up with that, potentially without tinkering with the regular season. I know you've already got the SEC talking about expanding conference play, and ESPN may be open to tinkering with that deal. But in general, I understand this is where it's going. I understand 16 kind of gets us to where I always thought we would get with the super conference model of, hey, you want each of the Power Four represented, maybe with the ability to get up to that 4 in, or each grouping of football. It's a nice clean number for that, but it still, to me, is always interesting that we're so comfortable continuing to stack extra games on these players before we've even broached the subject of what compensation for them looks like or how that would be additive if you're going to ask them to play more games without their say-so in the process.
Report out, growing support, Big Ten, SEC, 16 team bracket. They may want to do it. There's a couple of ACC, couple of Big 12, some at-large. Let's go to this presidential commission. Nick Saban's going to be a co-chair, a huge donor for Texas Tech. Big oil guy's going to be a co-chair. He's a big NIL donor. Are they going to be able to find out stuff and get anything tweaked through this presidential commission? You okay with Nick Saban digging in here?
I think it's a bit strange. I generally tend to think that these, presidential and congressional commissions are almost always just noise and lip surface to give the appearance of wanting to do something, because they never really talk to the players. They never really talk to the other people that are an important part of this process. And so I also don't know, especially, in the case of Texas Tech, it is strange to see someone associated with the money at one of the schools that, if we just use the musings of Kurt Signetti, who talked about a couple of programs out there purportedly with rosters in excess of $40 million, and had Texas Tech, I believe, named as one of them with all the money they've got down there. What would incentivize those schools that are able to play in that tax bracket to go out here and forfeit an advantage? Because what we always hear from the people on the congressional side, from the people on the college football coaching side, that I'm sure Nick Saban is trying to represent the interest of, is the same chorus. We need to get a handle on this because I think they're all tired of having to fork over this much money. Really, the solutions always come down to tamping down spending on players and never really anywhere else in the process. And so I ultimately don't worry too much about it because I think these things end up kind of becoming just white noise in the background. But Nick Saban is doing what these people have wanted all along, which is lending football credence to the group of people that have basically just been trying to appeal to the sensibilities of a generation or an older group of college football fans that I don't know necessarily represents the interests of everyone currently supporting the sport anymore.
Mike Golic Jr. joins us, college football analyst, TNT Sports. Find him on Twitter. Follow him at Mike Golic Jr. On this college football side, schedules are coming out for the NFL. You've been seeing this. Here's one date, December 20th. Supposedly, they're going to go NFL doubleheader, some big games, Eagles, Packers, all this stuff. That would be a college football playoff first round. That would be a big Saturday. There's a lot of games, probably 3 college football playoff games on that Saturday. What do you think of the NFL into a college football round one?
I think I'll be interested at some point if we get to an oversaturation point here sooner than later, because everyone references there's an old statute in broadcasting that doesn't allow the NFL to infringe on Saturdays during the college football regular season. It has always kind of protected that, and obviously doesn't apply in the areas of the year that college football is rapidly expanding their calendar into. And the NFL is the big bank that always takes the little bank, whether it's been the NFL against the NBA or the NFL against college football, the other football product. It's always going to win. It is the vastly more popular sport, but college football does have another very rabid fan base that will always support it, even as it pushes into these areas. There's always going to be a crowd that'll choose college football over everything else, but this next wave of college football expansion is much more about the meat of the bell curve. It's about TV execs and university presidents and people chasing the money that are behind a lot of these big-time TV deals and the playoff expansion, and the average fan, the casual eyeball that they want to continue to appeal to. and that group does have some crossover to the NFL. So I'm going to be curious to see how this goes for them in the early going, and if the early feedback and returns on that has any effect on how they start to structure the postseason going forward, because going up against the NFL is always going to be a risk, even for college football, as great a product and as appealing a product as that's always been to its fan base.
If those games are on the same day, December 20th, NFL has their schedule, college football playoff has the first round right now. Do you move that? Can you move that?
I don't think you can, based on what we know about the rest of the calendar of the NFL. The experiment with putting it on weekdays. By the end of the season, the NFL kind of starts to branch out over more and more of the weekend as we get later into the regular season, early into the postseason, all those things we know. At some point with expansion, it's going to become unavoidable, because we also know the NFL's not done expanding. They're going to continue to seek an additional regular season game. We've seen the playoffs expanded already, and so this is just one of those unavoidable phenomenon where everyone involved treats eyeballs as if they're in limitless supply, and at some point, especially soon, now that these two big heavyweights are colliding, we may see what the limits of this situation finally look like.
All right, last one. Bill Belichick has said he's addressed his personal life with his players. What do you think that discussion was?
Maybe just a point of clarification. Bill Belichick is a man who's prided himself on being able to block out outside noise and avoid distractions with his football teams. It was the hallmark of 2 decades plus of Patriots dominance, and obviously that's become a completely different thing. And as the leader of a team, Bill Belichick knows, hey, you could stand up in the meeting and profess one thing, but if you're not living that way or you're not representing it in that way, it's going to fall on deaf ears. And so I do think it's understandable for him to look and say, hey, I understand a lot of what you guys have heard in the media. Here's the reality of the situation. Here's how we're going to address this as a football team going forward. I saw quotes from Bill Belichick at ACC Media Day clarifying something that was interesting before, because we had seen him mention that he has a personal and professional relationship with his girlfriend, but then in statements at ACC Media Day, I believe said, that is part of my personal life. It does not have any impact on North Carolina football going forward. And so I do wonder, in light of all of this, if the man who wants to block out the noise more than anybody may be tamping down on this a bit and trying to control a little bit more of the variables around the football team specifically to make sure that the right message is sent so that he can walk into this team season with a locker room that believes what their coach is telling them and can rally and focus on just the football side of things that, again, I know you and I have talked about this, are going to present enough challenges already for a North Carolina football program that was always going to get more attention because Bill Belichick's coaching there. It may not quite be the Deion Sanders effect at Colorado, but it's not going to be far behind. You've already seen that reflected in the way that ESPN's put out some of the North Carolina games in the early season, and so I do think that this is some bit of damage control from Bill inside that locker room, I'd imagine.
I'm with you on how interesting North Carolina is going to be. I think it's going to be really interesting. Mike Golic Jr. is in, college football analyst for TNT Sports. Find him on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate
it. Mike Golic Jr. getting us started tonight on Fox Sports Radio, college football national analyst for TNT College Sports. Mike Golic Jr. on Twitter. Interesting stuff. Yeah, if you saw that, Fox, we love Fox Sports. Fox has the NFL doubleheader on December 20th. Eagles and Commanders, big one. Packers also playing the Bears, NFC North, big one. That's on December 20th. That's the first round of the college football playoff. And if I'm correct on this, I think we had, on that first Saturday, 3 college football playoff games? Morning, midday, night, something like that. Had a Friday night one. So that's big-time college football playoff day. I love that. Yet the NFL is king. I don't know what you can do. And then on top of it, for us FCS fans, the semifinals are supposed to be that day. The FCS. Guys, you got to figure that one out. If SDSU, whoever makes the FCS semifinals, you can't be playing it on the same day as the college football playoff and the Bears and Packers. Give me a break. I mean, that's wild. December 20th, mark that day down. What a day. But don't screw it up, guys. Don't screw it up. Question of the day, if you haven't heard it yet, would you vote for Pete Rose to get into the Hall of Fame? He has been reinstated from his lifetime ban by Rob Manfred today. Pete Rose, of course, passing away this past fall. But would you vote for him now to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame? 605-720-1067. Text us on the text line. Parker Fox is next. Former Northern player. Played for the Gophers as well, covering the NBA for the Fan in Minneapolis. Parker Fox live coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Looking for a new sport utility? Looking for one that's easy on the gas bill? We have them at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet. Nearly 50 to choose from, most with the exclusive Danny Manhole discount, including 16 all-new 2025 Equinoxes, plus Traverse, Tahoe, Suburban, Trailblazer, and Trax. Finance terms to fit every budget. Rates as low as 2.9% APR. See us at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet or DannyManholeRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Length of finance contract is limited on select models with qualified credit. Expires 6/2/25.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and EchoStar internet systems. Starlink and EchoStar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. If you missed some of the guests tonight, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. We hope you don't miss any guests, but if you miss anybody, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It is available wherever you get your podcast. Just search The Nate Brown Show on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and you've got this show Every show, every guest right there. The Nate Brown Show podcast available. Let's take a look at what's on tap. Thor Nystrom's in tonight. College football, NFL draft analyst, covers the Vikings for Score North. He's in tonight from the Twin Cities. Also, Scott Pianowski, National Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. That's what's on tap on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Campfire Bar, with 20 local brews on tap and live sports. Stop into the Campfire Bar inside the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard, South Dakota's best and biggest liquor store. The Campfire Bar with live sports and 20 South Dakota brews on tap. All right, I'll tell you, the Wolves have this thing sitting pretty good. They've got this thing sitting pretty good. The Wolves have it. They have a shot to win one more, and you're in the Western Conference Finals again. Steph goes down. That's a big factor. But our guy Parker Fox, he said Wolves in 5 last time we had him on. The first time we had him on. And I think we've got him again. He didn't know Steph was going to go down, but he said Wolves in 5. Parker, I think I've got you. Welcome in. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Everything is good. Yeah, Wolves in 5 is still alive, baby. It's hopefully going to go down right around the corner.
Okay, let's be honest now. You predicted on this show last time Wolves in 5. They lost game 1, and what were you thinking then?
Well, after they lost game 1, I was still pretty confident. Yeah, you heard about the fact that Steph Curry might not play the rest of the series. He's going to be reevaluated after game 4, game 5. I think with or without Steph Curry, I was still pretty confident in this Wolves team. They were about as bad as they had been all season in game 1, only scoring, I think, 88 points. I didn't expect to see that again from the Timberwolves. They just have too much offensive firepower when it comes to Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, along with some of their guys off the bench like Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So I was expecting the Wolves to be able to put points on the board, and I just didn't think that the Warriors had enough guys on their roster and depth that could really compete and score with the Timberwolves.
Parker Fox on tonight. He is with KFAN in the Twin Cities, covers the Wolves and more. His show to preview the games, Howlin' with the Homies. He picked the Wolves in 5. So it feels like Steph being out's a huge factor, but you were confident anyway. But now it's like, well, they got to get this done. How big do you think it is to get it done the next game, get the rest?
Oh, I think getting it done at home, Game 5 is pivotal. I think the Timberwolves they're hot right now. They're playing a good style of basketball, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's where they've really been their best. But you're right. It's so important to win games on your home court, and that's the opportunity that the Timberwolves have here, Game 5 against the Warriors tomorrow night. I think it's anytime you get home court advantage and you can use the crowd and you can use the energy in Target Center to try to get a win, I think the Timberwolves feel that, and they're going to use that energy to try to come out with a win tomorrow night.
Okay, Anthony Edwards was really good. Third quarter yesterday as a team, they were really good, outscored the Warriors. That's where the game expanded right there. It's been pretty competitive. Do you think are you surprised the Warriors, Parker, have stayed in this without Steph? He's their offense. They've stayed in it, really.
Yeah, they really have. I don't know if I would use the word surprised. I would say, I don't know, maybe intrigued is a good word. Just seeing the way, from a basketball point of view, that Kerr has really figured out that Wolves defense. The stuff he runs is it's incredible. Even Chris Finch commented on it on Paul Allen's show last week. Just some of the stuff that the Warriors are running offensively without Steph Curry is really making it hard for them to guard. When you have a player like Curry, you don't have to run as much stuff. You can just let him kind of go out there and bomb away those threes and fire those things away. And now they don't have that, so you have to find ways to adjust if you're Steve Kerr and the Warriors offense, and they've really done some awesome stuff, and they've made it tight and competitive in this series against the Wolves. And I think anytime you're playing a team that has a dynasty like the Warriors, you have to try to finish them, especially when they don't have their star and Steph Curry out there on the floor.
Give me your read on the trade. We're seeing Towns, Cat over at New York, doing well. The Knicks I think are going to beat Boston, with Tatum going down too. And then you got Julius Randle and how he's playing. How do you rate this transaction?
Oh, man, I've had so many emotions through this trade. When the trade happened, I was a little distraught just because, I've
Do I have you? Did I lose?
High school.
Okay, I got you, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I got you.
We got you locked in? Awesome. Yeah, I just loved watching Karl-Anthony Towns, like I was saying, and I was sad to see a guy like him go. He's a guy that I loved watching for a long time, a big man that is versatile and can shoot the three is something you are seeing more and more in the game today, and he did it at such a high level. But Julius, what Julius brought in was that toughness. And a guy like Dante DiVincenzo, who's a winner, he won in college, won a national championship, and Julius, has won throughout his career. So you bring in that toughness and kind of the ability to take your team over the edge. We were in the Western Conference Finals last year. We wanted to find a way to get back to there, if not better. And I think we're on the right track for that. And then vice versa for the New York Knicks. They won that trade as well. So I think it's a win-win for both teams. And how fun would it be to see those two teams in the NBA Finals in a couple weeks, huh?
I'm wondering, Parker. I mean, a listener said, I want to see the Knicks and the Wolves. And he said, we probably won't see it. Knicks have a little bit of a path. Wolves, maybe. What's the chance?
Oh, I think there's I hate to put a number on it, but I think there's a really high chance. And if you're a Timberwolves fan, you don't want to look past this series with the Warriors. But in my opinion, it seems to be wrapping up right here around the corner. You're going to have a really tough series in the Western Conference Finals, whether that be Denver or Oklahoma City. It's going to be tough. Two different teams. Denver uses more of their starting rotation. Oklahoma City kind of goes into their bench a little bit more. But the Wolves' path is set up really well. And then you talk about the New York Knicks path, and what better situation? We never want guys to get hurt, but Jason Tatum just underwent Achilles surgery this morning, so they're without their superstar there in Boston. Up 3-1. It looks really great for the New York Knicks, and then they'll have to play what's seemingly the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. So who knows? A lot of stars have to align, but that would be an amazing NBA Finals to see Karl-Anthony Towns come back to Target Center and play these 2025 Minnesota Timberwolves.
What do you think it's going to take? I'll let you run with this. They got to win Game 5, and if they do, they're in. I mean, they got some chances here without Steph. I like the Wolves. What's it going to take to get past the next step? Western Conference Finals last year, as you said, couldn't get past. What does it take? Is this team ready?
I think this team is ready. I think last year you saw they had the talent, they had the team, but they just didn't have the playoff experience. Anthony Edwards, he wasn't exactly ready for that moment last year, and I think this year he is. I think it's taken maybe a teammate like Dante DiVincenzo or Julius Randle, or it's maybe just taken a little bit of time. But I think Anthony Edwards and this Minnesota Timberwolves team is ready to get past the Western Conference Finals and play in the NBA Finals with a chance to host the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I've been a fan of this team my whole life, and I've seen the dog days, and it's just so great to see what this team is doing now. And I truly believe that they are ready, and they're poised to win the NBA title this year.
Chris Finch doing a great job. Parker Fox is in tonight talking Wolves, howling with the homies on KFAN out of the Twin Cities. Great sports station. We all know that. Parker, good to have you. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and go Wolves.
Appreciate it. Parker Fox on tonight. Find him on Twitter at ParkerFox24. He's on KFAN. Pops on howling with the homies and covers the Wolves in the Minnesota sports scene. Parker Fox, former Northern and Gopher basketball player. He thinks the Wolves can get it done. They're going to beat the Warriors. I've been a little surprised how competitive the games have been. He says intrigued how it's been, fairly competitive without Steph because they lost all of their offense. I mean, the Warriors are a shell of themselves without Steph Curry. And the Wolves have gotten it done, but it hasn't been easy. So if they'll get this thing done, Western Conference Finals, dicey. OKC or Denver. I mean, that's a real deal series there. That game coming up tonight, I'm rooting for the Nuggets big time. I like Jokic, man. I love watching Jokic and the Nuggets. OKC's tough. I don't know if Denver's going to lose home court here. They go to OKC tonight. 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain for Game 5, tied 2-2. Coming right back, let's revisit, see what the question of the day answers are coming in. If you haven't answered it, you let me know. With Pete Rose getting reinstated by Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball commissioner today, would you vote for him now to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame after Pete's gambling scandal as the Reds manager. 605-720-1067 on the listener text line. Would you vote for Pete Rose now? We'll take a look at it next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
Fox Sports Rapid City Forecast. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Lows level off around 55. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow. Chance for storms. Highs around 73. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night. Chance for storms. Lows dip down to about 48. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, we're back on Tuesday edition of the program. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show. We're live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show from high school to college to the pros. Got you covered tonight. Thor Nystrom's coming up from Minneapolis, talking Vikings a little bit. I got a problem with this Vikings news today. Do you have a problem? I've got a problem. Thor Nystrom's coming in. He covers the Vikings for Score North and NFL draft analyst for Fantasy Life. He's on straight ahead. Major League Baseball writer Scott Pianowski will join us tonight. Yahoo Sports National Major League Baseball writer, because we're talking Pete Rose tonight. Let's get an update on the question of the day on the Pete Rose scenario. Breaking news. If you missed it, you're just getting in your car tonight. Pete Rose reinstated by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred today. My take on it is, it's not a hot take. My take on it is Rob Manfred reinstated him. Rob Manfred doesn't decide anything after that. So the baseball writers that have held guard on the Baseball Hall of Fame, they take this stuff, I mean, you know this, really serious. Really serious. They've barred the Barry Bonds and that situation, and Pete Rose hasn't even been considered with the lifetime ban. I believe the baseball writers will not pursue this, not elevate. I believe that. Maybe there's enough of them that might get some votes going on the ballots. I don't know, but I think they're going to keep this arm's length, and I don't know how far it's going to go, but I wanted to ask the South Dakota sports audience tonight, how about if you got a vote? Would you vote for Pete Rose? Said, hey, the managing, betting, that scandal, he's had the lifetime ban. He passed away in September. It's time to go there. Would you vote for him in the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose? I've had listeners say his playing career is what sets him apart. That's what you recognize, is his playing career. I understand that. Listener text coming in on this. Let's find this one. Listener text 605-720-1067, the Barons-Wilson text line. I'm in the minority, but let's be honest, he was betting on baseball when he was a player. You don't just pick up the gambling habit one day out of the blue. There have been many books written about Rose and his betting. One of the bookies that Rose used said he would gamble on anything. Nothing was off the table. He was an addict. Well, here's the thing, though. I understand that. I don't know about the betting side when he was a player, possibly. We know about it when he was a manager, and that's what he broke the ultimate rule there, right? Broke the ultimate rule. Like Michael Jordan, my favorite athlete, you'd say, of all time. He was a betting guy big time, right? Michael Jordan did all sorts of betting. And you just watch The Last Dance. He was betting his security guards on stupid stuff. I mean, so he was betting, and he'd bet his teammates, he'd bet golfing, he'd bet all of that stuff. Yet we never would dream that Michael Jordan would be betting on basketball, and nobody ever said, that route. That's the difference. Pete Rose did bet on baseball as a manager of the Reds. We've had listeners say, well, he bet on his team to win. Well, that's what he said. That's what he said. But look at this poll result on Twitter. I thought it would be, yes, I would vote for Pete Rose to get to the Hall of Fame. I thought you guys would go that route on Twitter, but it's heavy. I mean heavy. 90% now have said his play and career is worthy. 10% holding his mistake was too big. So I think, here's how I see that. Our country, usually, just our country in general, when there's a scandal, we usually say, let's give him a chance. That's how we usually do it, even though it took Pete Rose a long time to kind of talk about, well, I made this mistake. I made a long time. We usually say, and I think this too, honestly, with his death, I think people are like, what's the point of, keeping this going? So Rob Manfred said, we're going to reinstate him. And I think most of the public saying, yeah, I just put him in. There's still some of you holding firm on this. Some of you holding firm. Listener text, Rose and Bonds deserve to be in immediately. Rose and Bonds deserve to be in immediately. It's a shame what they did to Rose. The lifetime ban is what you're saying? Shame of what they did to Rose. So the lifetime ban's lifted. Okay, if you say Rose, how about Shoeless Joe Jackson? He got reinstated by Rob Manfred today, too. That's the Black Sox scandal. That's those 8 players that took the money. That was a World Series deal. The 8 players that threw the World Series and the Reds won, they took the $100,000 payment. And those players, so underperforming in the World Series, that was a huge deal. I mean, I know it was 1919. I understand, but what if? I mean, could you imagine if something like that happened today? Can you imagine in 2025 if something like that happened? What would we do to those players? That would be. You want to talk about a lifetime ban, and I don't think people would feel too sorry for them. So if you comparing that to Rose, and what's the difference between Barry Bonds and the performance enhancing that he allegedly did? Allegedly. Very interesting. 90% of the audience said I would vote for Pete Rose. Okay, two things here tonight. The Vikings are in a situation that the NFL is going to put them in now. So I think this is bogus. We'll see if you guys agree with me on it. And then there's a new sports app. Oh, look at this. A new sports app. Just what you want. You can throw this in with your 92 other streaming apps that you have. It's going to be so nice. We'll discuss the Vikes and that app next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of artisan hearth buns and rolls on hand. Fancy equipment and secret sauces are great, but once you've mastered the basics, it's all about the bun. Your perfectly grilled burgers and hot dogs deserve the best, and with several varieties to choose from, including Wisconsin brat buns, gourmet brioche, French, and onion rolls, the bakers of Artisan Hearth have the buns and rolls your family will love. Artisan Hearth, locally baked, delivered fresh daily.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Get set for a night of non-stop laughs as the Box Elder Event Center welcomes comedian Michael Palisak.
When I was in college, my parents relocated to Chicago, and I found them.
After being a finalist on Last Comic Standing and appearances on Stephen Colbert and Conan, he's coming to Rapid City Saturday, May 31st.
The closest thing we have to a gang is the Future Farmers of America.
Advance tickets are just $20 at thebox.live. Don't miss Michael Palisak at the Box Elder Event Center, Saturday, May 31st.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for another Elevate Performance Health Minute. Rihanna, as we all get older, one of the most common injuries, pains, back pain.
We see it every day.
There's a lot of things that can cause it, right?
Absolutely. There's a multitude of different things that can cause back pain, whether that's strength or something that you did, you tweaked it. So it's really important that we get you looked at and figure out what's actually causing that, because so many things can cause the different types of back pain.
Okay, so what's interesting about it, you could have pain in the back, but then there's also a problem with your back, and now that turns into sciatica.
Yeah, sciatica, it tends to come down through the buttock into the leg, and back pain generally just stays right within the back. You might have something traveling, numbness and tingling, pain shooting down past the knee even, all the way to the foot. We definitely want to get that taken care of sooner than later.
Back pain relief, sciatica relief. Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
We are off and running into the second hour tonight. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You've got it. Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show live. 2 guests coming up. They're really good. Thor Nystrom's in from the Twin Cities. Covers the Vikings for Score North and NFL Draft Analyst for Fantasy Life. Thor Nystrom's on tap talking football. Scott Pianowski's on later tonight talking Pete Rose and Major League Baseball. Great baseball guest. Scott Pianowski, National Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. They're on tap. Second hour ready to go, driven by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned in South Dakota, start at summitautogrp.com. Right there on your phone. Inventory is where you start, and then it's car buying built around you from start to finish through the right financing, the right treatment. summitautogrp.com. Start there when it comes to pre-owned in South Dakota. You can get on the program if you want tonight. We'll try and get you on. 605-720-1067 is the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Powered by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by the buffet, 3809 East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, also in Brandon, and 2 locations in Rapid City. That's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. 605-720-1067. I got a new question of the day in the second hour. You ready? What do you think of this scenario that the Vikings are in? So the schedule release is coming out tomorrow, but they do all these teasers. And if you listen to sports radio, you're a sports fan, you've heard all these teaser releases. Oh, this game and that game and the international games. And so some of the Vikings games have been released. The official schedule and the dates come out tomorrow. But some of the Vikings games have been released, and we know they're going to be back-to-back international. So why is that a thing? You're like, wait, the Jags have done 2 games over there, I think. Hey, the Vikings are going back-to-back consecutive weeks, Dublin once, and then England the next. It's like, well, everything's close over there. It's no big deal. Man, I'd rather play in Ireland than Pittsburgh. I'd rather play in England than Cleveland. That's what everybody's trying to say. What I'm just trying to tell you is, here's the thing. I understand why the NFL goes international. I'm not that dense. I'm dense. I'm not that dense. It's international. It's the money, the brand, the growth. They're trying to even put teams over there. So I understand it. Do we have to do stuff like this? Why do we need 8 of these games? Why don't we just... It started out with 1. This was the special one. Then it went to 2. Now it's just balloon. Now we got international games. We got them throughout the whole season almost. Almost. It's like, I don't... Is there something I'm missing other than the money side? I guess money controls everything. I get it. Is there something where it's like, well, this is fun. The fans want to go to Dublin. Vikings fans, you're going to go to Dublin. Maybe there's some, but I've never gotten the whole international. You don't see the NBA doing this. They're a worldwide brand because they've got all the foreign players. They're not putting games over in Serbia. Hey, the Nuggets are going to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in Jokic's hometown. No. So, I mean, it's worldwide branding, and I get it. I don't know if it's something that fans want. And I'm telling you, looking at the Vikings, let me just say, this is the first time ever, historic, they say, historic schedule. Back-to-back weeks, international games for the Minnesota Vikings. So they're not going to come home. They're going to stay over there and have to do that whole thing. Maybe they're going to have a blast. Maybe it'll be a blast. And Kevin O'Connell said, well, this is great, playing in Dublin and the Steelers. Oh, this is great. Well, what do you think he's going to say? So I think it's a disadvantage. It's essentially, you could say it's not Pittsburgh, it's not Cleveland. It's a long trip. It's a long time. These guys are, they do kind of have families, I hate to tell you, they probably want some routine. I mean, it's a long time being over there. They're going to be over there for 20 days. I mean, you got to get over there early. You got to practice and the whole thing. So now they're going to be over there. Lister text, maybe you should ask Craig Maddock if he's going to go to these games. Now, he's a season ticket holder, our friend Craig Maddock, but something tells me he's not going to Dublin in England to watch the Vikes. I guess we'll see. It's never crossed my mind. I mean, I want to do that sometime, but I'm not doing it to watch games. If I'm going to go on a Viking cruise, it's not the Minnesota Vikings cruise, okay? I'm going to go on a Viking cruise and chill. I'm not going to be going on a Viking cruise to go watch the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not going to be doing that. I think it's a disadvantage. Back-to-back, NFL just released. They're going to be playing back-to-back weeks, international. First time ever you've had to go back-to-back weeks, and it's the Vikings. Vikings against the Steelers, Vikings against the Browns, both road games anyway for Minnesota. So I guess you don't have to take a home game away. But if you answered this, is it a unfair deal for the Vikings having to play back-to-back international games this upcoming season? 605-720-1067 if you want to sound off. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Is it an unfair deal for the Vikings having to play back-to-back international games? You hate it, it will be difficult, or not that bad, just play. Just play. You've heard the just dribble. Just play. And by the way, the audience on Twitter is telling the Vikings it's not that bad, just play. I understand. There's worse places to be than Dublin and England. I understand. They get to go to Ireland. They get to go to London. Beautiful. It'll be a great time. It's a long time. It's not, I mean, this is regular season football. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The NFL wants to tell you it's about the players. It's about the football. It's about the product. No, it's really about expanding our money empire. That's what it's really about. It's not about, they wouldn't put these games overseas if they cared about the games. They don't care about the games. So I don't like it at all. 65% of you voting say it's not that bad, just play. 35% of you for the Vikings say, I hate it. It will be more difficult than other teams. It will be more difficult than other teams. Okay, one more thing here. Speaking of something I don't understand, let's go to another one here. So I couldn't tell you how many TV apps that I have. You can stop me right now. I couldn't tell you how many apps that I have streaming. So I'm trying to think. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly what I have. Maybe I'll dig into an app, and I'm sitting there, and I have to ask my wife, do we get this? So, well, no, we don't get this. You got to get this code from my sister-in-law. Oh, anyway. No. Wait, hey, hang on a second. But I said, do we get this? I don't know. And I've got all these apps, and now ESPN has announced we're going to do another one. ESPN is not, let's see, in your face enough app, ESPN Plus, ESPN News, ESPN linear app, streaming. Now they're going to do another one. This is separate. ESPN's chairman just announced a new direct-to-consumer service. And guess what they're going to call it? It's going to direct-to-consumer, so you can pay a subscription fee just to get this from ESPN. And they're going to call it ESPN. It's their first direct-to-consumer product. They said, those 4 letters, just tell everybody who we are, and we've been a strong... Okay. They didn't want to come up with some name. So now I'm supposed to look through this. I have a sheet in front of me. I can get the ESPN Unlimited bundle with Disney Plus and Hulu with ads for $35.99 or no ads for $45.99. Other options, ESPN. You don't get ESPN Plus. You don't get ESPN Plus through this. So if you want some of the college games that we watched, we don't get that. You still got to get ESPN Plus. And then but if you have ESPN Plus, you get Disney and Hulu. You can add those in too. And then now with this ESPN Direct to Consumer, you can even get, maybe we should create our own direct-to-consumer. I mean, I'm losing track of this stuff. Maybe I sound like a 68-year-old tonight. I can't keep track of it. So I'm going to ask Matt Kearney, our producer of the program. I want to know if he knows how many services he's got. He told me he just starts streaming. You just love it. Just start streaming. He's counting them off. He's already up to 17. It's amazing. He's already up to 17. And now we got another one. ESPN, direct to consumer, and it's called ESPN. So you're going to have your ESPN app. That's not it. So you got to scroll through. ESPN Plus. No. ESPN? Yeah. What do you get on it? You get everything that's on ESPN. Well, have fun with that. What a world. Remember when we used to get all this? It was called cable. Well, I didn't want cable. So now you have 92 streaming apps. Good luck.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big money on your entire roofing project at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense against the elements and represents up to 40% of your home's exterior. Owens Corning Architectural Shingles offer ultimate protection and impressive curb appeal. Choose from over 40 options and save big money on all Owens Corning shingles now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Experience the best selection and lowest prices in town at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Shop their massive wine selection and save $4 off all 19 Crimes Cali wines. Save $2 off 750 bottles of Dr. Mac, now just $13.49. Or pick up the big 175 of Jose Cuervo ready-to-drink cocktails for only $13.49. Price is good at the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Lows level off around 55, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow, chance for storms, highs around 73. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night, chance for storms, lows dip down to about 48. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the #1 place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Imagine this, a bank that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank & Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank & Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank & Trust. Member FDIC.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Well, it is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, and Sometimes I never know what's going to happen. If it's going to be one of those days where I'm an old man yelling at the clouds. I mean, sometimes I have my good days. I have my bad days, you know. Sometimes I have to go have a fruit cup in the park at 3 o'clock. I'm just at that age, you know. But having a good day today until we get the ESPN direct-to-consumer product. Another app to add to my streaming fest. I only have 92 streaming apps. I'm going to add another one. It's one of those things. By the way, listener text coming in on the ESPN direct-to-consumer app. He's trying to clue me in on why this came out here. This is everything ESPN offers on a new app, but you can get it on YouTube TV, you can get it on cable, you can get it on all of this stuff. And the listener text says, ESPN direct-to-consumer is meant for those who don't want to pay for YouTube TV to just have ESPN. Yeah, I know. Thank you for your thoughts. All right. Thor Nystrom in tonight. NFL draft analyst, fantasy life, covers the Vikes, Score North. Find him on Twitter at ThorKU. Thor, good to have you. How are you?
Always good to be with you, Nate. I'm doing great.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Let me ask you, I had Vikings fans say, well, on the listener text line, they've said they don't like the back-to-back international games. They don't like it. But some of my audience said it's fine, just play. What do you say? First time ever a team's had to play back-to-back overseas, and it's the Vikings.
Generally, and of course I'm coming to you live from Minneapolis. Generally, I do not vociferously disagree with my brethren here, my Viking fan brethren. In this instance, I vociferously disagree. The Vikings, they're going to get 8 home games, they're going to get 7 true road games, and they're going to get 2 highly winnable neutral site games in a row. As you mentioned, first time in NFL history. This is being painted as a bad thing. Why? The second game they're playing the Browns have to fly over that week. They've been there for a week. They've already acclimated. They've already played an international game. So then you get your second one, which should have been a road game, right? They were just given the 2 road games. They're giving them as neutrals. So instead of having more road games than home games, you now have more home games than road games. That makes you unique in the entire NFC North. Every single other team in the division, all 3, playing 8 home games, 9 road games. The Vikings not only get the 2 neutrals out of it, they have a huge built-in advantage for the second one. The Vikings fans saying that are dead wrong.
Okay, so here's my deal on it. I feel like the Vikings, I think about the players and the whole thing. It's like they're going to have to be over there, 17 days. I mean, to acclimate, to, get ready. They're going to be full 2 weeks. So you're going to have to go from one country to the other. I just wonder if that grinds out a little bit. I don't know. They would have had to go to Pittsburgh. They would have had to go to Cleveland. So you're saying, well, it's better to go from Ireland to England than that.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, again, the Browns flying there for the second one. Browns have to do that overseas trip. Whereas the Vikings, you've already been there for a week. Your bodies have already the body clock thing. Nate, you've gone overseas before. It takes I'm flying back. My body still hasn't acclimated. Like the older I get, the worse it gets. You know what I mean? And those guys are obviously professional athletes, but the turnaround to play that quick after you fly over is a real thing. And both teams, when it's the Vikings against the Steelers, you're both in the same situation. The Browns game, I don't know how. If I was the Browns fans, I would be complaining about that. Why do they get to stay over the week and then we have to fly in and then play right away after the plane trip? To me, that is the competitive disadvantage.
All right, Vikings for the first time ever in NFL history going to go back-to-back international games. What do you think of the overall NFL? I know why they do it, but they've ramped up these overseas games. There's a ton of them now throughout the season. What do you think of that strategy?
Really smart from a business perspective. The reason it's being done is, Nate, this is one thing you don't know about me. I taught in China for a year after graduate school.
Okay.
And I was shocked. And I was in rural China. I was in a place called Chongqing. I was surprised with how rabidly into the NBA that country was. And of course not the only one, but the NBA has done a great job of making their game international. On the campus, I was teaching at Chongqing University. All the male students, or a lot of the male students, played the NBA game on their computers or on their PlayStations. like super duper into it, and that's what they wanted to ask about, like after class. Like, you know, I'm not as big of an NBA guy, but I tried to pretend, you know, like go Timberwolves and stuff like that. But the NFL is clearly trying to do the same sort of a thing. You don't in America, the appetite for it is matched by nothing. Internationally, it's a different thing. But if you can put that sport in front of people, you have the barrier of entry. In you go down to the youth level of how much it costs to field a football game, to field a football team. You have to have all the equipment. You have to have the field. You have to have the goalposts. You have to have numerous refs on the field for a game. So you have that, and then you have the education of the sport itself. This is the first step towards that. They're putting the international camps around as well. The NFL, they have the thing with the NFL draft now. You have a whole bunch of international prospects. We didn't used to have that. Last year in the round, the Lions took one of the international guys. So we're seeing that more ubiquitously now. I like the step that they're taking.
Okay, Thor Nystrom on tonight, NFL Draft Analyst, Fantasy Life. Also talks Vikes with the Score North guys. He's on Twitter at ThorKU. Do you think they'll ever have a division in international, you know, Europe essentially? I don't think they go that far, but I think they're going to continue to have a lot of these games. What do you say? That people have said the strategy is eventually they're going to have teams over there.
Well, if you said ever, so then I would say yes, for sure. Do I think it happens in the next, 20 years? Do I think it happens in our lifetimes? Maybe not. But the sport would have to get outlawed at some point in the future for it to stop that growth there, right? For it never to happen. They will expand it. I mean, again, these are the first steps to that. But once you have the jets, you know, now they have it goes really fast, going to London, for instance, where it's not as much travel time. It's going to make it more feasible. I do think eventually they get there. Do I know if it's in our lifetimes? No. But certainly this is a step in that direction.
Okay, let me get your take on J.J. McCarthy. You were first, man. And now I see Adam Schefter and some of these guys say the Vikings' plan all along was to go with McCarthy as QB1. You were saying it really, really early. And how do you think the Vikings feel? Because a lot of the fans will say, this team's loaded up. This team's Super Bowl possible. Even Chris Sims was saying that. Oh, their Super Bowl makeup. But the quarterback's the question mark. How big of a one?
I don't think it's one. I know why people say that because, number one, sight unseen a little. You know, there's a lot of people who just have never seen him play before. And then you also have the thing of it's unprecedented for a top 10 quarterback to miss his rookie season and then just start out this. We've never seen it before. But I know what that kid's made of. You know, people forget 2023 Michigan. It's such a misremembered great team. The degree of difficulty of what they did was ludicrously high. You had the Connor Stallion stuff. You had all the media stuff. You had multiple suspensions for Jim Harbaugh during the year, which meant they had a rotating door of coaches. Like one time it would be like, oh, Sharon Moore, he's going to be the interim for this game, or Jay Harbaugh is going to be the interim for this game. And, you had that whole thing. And then at the end of it, when Michigan, by the way, the only team in the FBS at the end of the 2023 season that we can say without a shadow of a doubt was not cheating. There's only one team we can say that about, and that's the Michigan Wolverines. Down the stretch, they played a procession of murderers row defenses, and that's what a top 10 pick looks like. In my opinion, that's what a top 3 pick looks like. He just carved them up. Whenever they needed J.J. McCarthy, the Alabama game's a great example of this in the semis. When they needed him, he roared the team back. He has all the physical attributes you want and a super duper mentally tough kid. You know, that when he was in college, they did a lot of the stories they had fun with him meditating under the goalposts before the game, but it's not just like a niche, like a shticky kind of a thing. Like that's his whole mindset. And so something like this, he wrote right after the injury, he posted on Twitter, amor fati, which in Latin means love of fate. You know, this is not a kid that you're going to get down. And he was in the VR all season long. They said they couldn't get him out of the building. He wrote individual scouting reports on all the NFL defenders that the Vikings were playing. This kid is a gym rat for football. He will excel immediately.
Very good stuff. Thor Nystrom on tonight. Follow him at ThorKU, Fantasy Life, NFL Draft Analyst. So I got to get your take. You were high on Shedeur Sanders. He goes to the rookie minicamp. Cleveland's putting out videos. He's dropping stuff in. Can you tell anything from that?
Zero. You can't. You know I like Shadir's game. Where we should be very specific about this. I like his on-field game, but as far as the rookie minicamp stuff, you can't. But yeah, what happened in the draft with that, one of the wildest things I've ever seen. One of the wildest things anyone who does my job has ever seen. And there's even some anecdotes I can't say that I heard during the fall. Let's just say this, Nate. There will be a documentary about Shadir Sanders this fall in the draft someday. It's going to take a while. It might be after his career, but a fascinating thing, and there's a lot of untold stories there.
Was it a raw deal, or did he make a bunch of mistakes?
I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to call it a raw deal. One quote that I saw that encapsulated a lot of the things that I was told privately was the one. I forgot if it was a coach, but it was anonymous, maybe a scout, but said something like Shadir Sanders, the visits he took with teams, he took them. He was behaving as though it was a recruiting pitch and not a job interview, right? And big difference in those two things. And you heard that interviews were leading to the fall. That conforms to everything I heard. And like I said, I heard a couple of specific things that I'm not to say, but it wasn't the best, the way that he put himself out there to teams, and that's what led to it.
Very interesting. And you say in Cleveland, how good of a shot does he have, though? Rookie minicamp aside, how good of a shot does Shadir have?
To win the Week 1 starting job?
Yes.
I think it's legitimate. You have a 4-horse race there. Obviously, I don't think Deshaun Watson's ever taking a snap again. So it's Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, Sanders, all 4 of them. I mean, literally whoever plays best in camp, I think is going to get that job. Why would the coaching staff that is on the hottest seat in the NFL and then an administration that is on perhaps the hottest administration hot seat in the NFL, why would they not play the best quarterback? And if Shadir Sanders in August, he comes in there, he's ready to work, he puts his head down, the kid's got a lot of natural talent. He certainly has the most talent of any of those 4 guys that I just mentioned. Natural, physical ability. It's going to come down to what do they see of him in the building in August? I don't know if there's ever been as much importance on how a player is inside the building in August, a drafted rookie, as it is for Shadir Sanders in August. The NFL was very clear in its messaging with Shadir that last weekend of April of come into work and you might be able to have a long-term career here. If you don't, you're going to be out of here real quick.
Yeah.
He has gotten that messaging, and we're about to find out.
It seemed like his mindset changed after the fall, at least as I was following the coverage. Like, he seemed like there was a flip there on, well, maybe I'm now grateful for an opportunity. That's what it seemed like. We'll see. Thor Nystrom in tonight. Great coverage, as always. Fantasy Life, where you can find him also on Twitter at ThorKU. Fantasy Life, NFL Draft Analyst. Thor, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Always good talking to you, Nate.
Appreciate it. Thor Nystrom in, NFL Draft Analyst, College Football Analyst, Fantasy Life from the Twin Cities tonight. Thor Nystrom, good stuff there. Good stuff there. On the Vikings, he's high on J.J. McCarthy. You guys are taking that and rolling. Where's Rob Kegron, my guest host, when I need him? It's only Tuesday. He won't be here till Thursday. I'll remember. He said the Vikings don't have a quarterback, Rob Kegron said. I'll still invite him in Thursday, but we're going to have a discussion, right? Let's see. Are you worried that the Vikings are playing back-to-back international games? Thor Nystrom said he's okay with it. They get to stay over there. The Browns have to travel over there the week of. They get 2 neutral site games. Is how Thor sees it. I still don't like it. I think it's a long road trip. That's a long one there. I don't see it as neutral site. It's not like we're coming to, Lincoln to play Nebraska, right? I don't see it as neutral site. I understand both teams don't have home, but the Vikings, that's a long trip back-to-back. They're playing in Dublin, the Steelers, and then they're playing the Browns in London. 65% of you say it's not that bad for the Vikings, just play. 35% say, I hate it, it will be more difficult. Listener text on the new ESPN direct-to-consumer app that's coming out. It's another sports streaming app. Listener text, I wonder if the internet will crash. My internet is already the highest I can get in my area. Well, as Matt Kearney said, just deal with it. Oh, anyway, that's a tough one. Tough cookie. I know, I'm with you. I don't like the streaming. I hate the streaming. We used to have a nice world. TV, cable, it was all good. And then we got into the streaming mess, and now we got games in London. We got games on Christmas night when you should be spending time. Oh, anyway, it's the Broncos-Chiefs. Book it. Scott Pianowski's in. Major League Baseball. Pete Rose. What are his thoughts? Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
Of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Remember, if you missed parts of the show, we had Mike Golic Jr. tonight. Great college football analyst, TNT Sports, Parker Fox, in tonight from the Twin Cities. Covers the Timberwolves, former Minnesota Gopher player, Northern State player. Parker Fox was on talking NBA. Thor Nystrom also joined us moments ago, talking NFL. If you missed parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show's there. You can download it. Yesterday, great segment, great interview with Wyoming men's coach Sundance Wicks. If you missed that, I encourage you to check it out. He talked to high school recruits. He talked transfer portal. Wyoming playing South Dakota State in December at the Pentagon. So that was yesterday. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and we're there. Like our next guest, Scott Pianowski's in tonight. Yahoo Sports, talking Major League Baseball. Well, the big news, Scott, is Pete Rose gets reinstated along with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Rob Manfred's made this decision. Why do you think Rob Manfred has done this now?
People trying to get some wins. Donald Trump trying to get some wins. Manfred trying to get some wins. Pete is a widely popular, if divisive, player, and there's certainly people are always going to be in his corner. It's funny that the baseball writer Joe Posnanski talks about going on the road and often talking about Pete Rose, and he will open it up to the audience. He says, everybody here who's in favor of Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame, raise your hand, and everybody who isn't against it, raise your hand. And he says everywhere he goes, it's 50-50, which I think is a fascinating slice of the way the America feels about Pete. But Manfred's looking for wins. Baseball is always going to be criticized, even in the game today where there's so many exciting players. And Ohtani is somebody who we're all going to tell our grandchildren about. He's a unicorn. You can't compare him to anybody else. But there's always going to be problems with baseball. They need wins where they can get them. And all this opens up is that Rose will be eligible when the Veterans Committee meets again in 2027. It doesn't mean he's in the Hall of Fame. He will never go through the balloting process the way everybody else does, through the regular writers. It will be something where a small group of 12 to 16 people, something like that, will have to vote on it. And I still don't think it's anywhere near. Trump thinks it's a fait accompli that Rose will get in. I don't think it's anywhere near that kind of a slam dunk. We're still 2 years away from that. But Manfred wanted to do something that he thought would be popular, and this is what he's offered up to us.
Okay, so my audience, it's just a Twitter poll, so take that for what it's worth in that place. 88%, I said, would you vote for him if you had a vote now? Would you vote for him? 88%, yes, his career was worthy. I've had listeners tonight say it's about his career of a player. That's what should get him in. Is that valid?
There's really no right or wrong answer. It comes down to when do you think he started? It's documented that he bet as a manager, but there's circumstantial evidence that he was a gambler as a player. Did he ever compromise the game? Would he have ever thrown a game or tried less or tried more? Would he, a relief pitcher who needed a day off, Pete's get a big bet. Would he throw that guy on the mound when maybe he shouldn't be exposed to pitching again? I realize now we're in a very unusual time, Nate, where baseball, all the major sports have taken gambling money. You cannot watch a telecast of any sports without seeing an offer, a come on to bet on something, to bet on the next outcome, to bet on the winner of the game. Is anybody going to hit a home run? Is Steph Curry going to make a three-pointer? I mean, you obviously it's everywhere, and people have different opinions on that. And some of my friend Joe Sheehan would say that's the way gambling has taken over now is all the more reason why we need a deterrent, because anybody involved in baseball who wanted to make a bet is just a couple of clicks away from doing that. It's never been as accessible. You don't have to go down some dark alley or meet somebody you don't know his real name or anything. It's now so much in the public, and we need to know more than anything the games are level. The games have integrity. What would happen if somebody got behind a lot of money? Granted, with the online accounts, you have to have the money up front. Just a year ago, we were talking about a totally different scandal, but the Ohtani and his interpreter and all that stuff. Yeah. But I'm honestly torn, Nate. There are times where I just think Pete Rose was overqualified as a Hall of Famer, played in the most games, had the most hits, had signature moments. You can close your eyes, even if you didn't grow up with Pete Rose. You can close your eyes and see the belly flop slide that you had on social media. You can close your eyes and see him running over Ray Fawcett. You heard the stories of Game 6, 1975 World Series. We were saying to Carlton Fisk, hey, Fisk, isn't this the greatest game ever? He's just excited to be a part of it. He wasn't even depressed that they lost the game. He said, I don't want to spark, you will win the next night. But Pete Rose sold baseball as well as anybody could sell it. And he played all these different positions, and he wanted to play every game, and he stood for so many good things. That's the incongruous thing, is that Pete Rose, what made him great tore him down. He believed in himself. He thought he was bulletproof, and that served him really well as a player. It didn't always serve him well as a human being.
So the deal is, you mentioned it, the writers. I don't think the writers will ever do this. I say ever, but the writers have been the guard to the Hall of Fame, and I don't think they're going to do this. Do you think this era's, this new era's committee here, is that how it's going to happen? You say, well, maybe a couple of years. Do you think that's something that people will still hold as, well, even though it's the new way we're doing it, it's legit?
I mean, Dave Barker got in the Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody considers an asterisk to that. A few years ago, Harold Baines, who I don't think is a Hall of Famer at all, got in the Hall of Fame. Jerry Reinsdorf was a big promoter of Baines. Once you get in, I don't think anybody cares what did you get in the front door, the side door, the back door. I don't think that matters to anybody. It's just going to be a matter of who's on this committee and how persuasive are they. And sports have different ideas. I mean, I realize all this stuff happened after his enshrinement, but O.J. Simpson's in the Football Hall of Fame. Nobody questions what he was as a football player. Obviously, his life was very complicated. Will Barry Bonds ever be in the Hall of Fame or even be eligible to be voted on, again? Bonds, of course, was on the ballot. I mean, he got more and more votes in support, but never got in. Will he ever be in the Hall of Fame? The best hitter we probably have ever seen. Roger Clemens, maybe the best pitcher we've ever seen. At the end of the day, you can't take away the memories, right? You can't erase what Bonds did, what Clemens did, what Rose did, what Alex Rodriguez did. They're in the record books, and however you felt about them, if they were your favorite player, if you grew up, a lot of people didn't root for Bonds. I'm happy to see Bonds has softened a little bit, has become more of an approachable person, because why not just enjoy the rest of your life and just be a celebrity and enjoy interacting with people? There was such a hardened element to him. We saw the end game of Pete Rose was not very happy, right? He was doing a lot of card shows. Yeah. He would basically do anything. You want to hang out with him, you could pay him a couple bucks and have dinner with him or play golf with him or just listen to him tell stories. The very sad display, I always thought, where he would go to the Hall of Fame, a mile down the road and set up his own shop, and kind of obscuring that moment should belong to the Hall of Famers. I always thought that hit a weird tone. And I come back to one very simple thing. When Giamatti suspended Rose and sadly died 9 days later, age 51, heart attack, Martha's Vineyard, he wanted Pete Rose to reconfigure his life. And if Pete Rose had gone into a soul-searching, I've made mistakes, gambling is a bad thing, I could have compromised the game, I want to get better, I want to have people avoid the mistakes I've made, even if it wasn't 100% genuine, we forgive everybody in America. The problem is that Pete had stonewalled. He thought, I'll just deny it. They have no proof. I just signed it. I signed a lifetime ban, but they didn't prove anything. We're just going to basically throw everything away. He thought that people just forget. And if he maybe showed contrition, reconfigured his life, I think we might be having a totally different conversation right now.
Great stuff. Scott Pianowski, great guest to have. YahooSports.com, Major League Baseball. Pete Rose reinstated by Rob Manfred for Major League Baseball from the lifetime ban, but the Hall of Fame consideration will be coming. Okay, on the other side, I want to talk one baseball story. Currently, Rockies are 7-34. My goodness. What can you say about how an organization is out of it now on May 13th in a market like Denver?
I mean, who thought, after we saw the White Sox bottom out and break all these records for futility, who thought it would just be another year before that stuff would be challenged? And right before Bud Black got fired, would they lose 22-0 over the weekend to that Padres team? Or just, it's one thing to be bad, it's another thing to be embarrassingly bad. And we've talked about this slump when they've rarely dipped into the market. They tried Chris Bryant a few years ago. That was a swing and miss. It's obviously very difficult to recruit pitchers who want to pitch in Colorado. I do not know how you set up a winning program there. Everybody else in that division, by the way, all have winning records, in part because they're feasting on Colorado. It's a great city. It's a very clean city. It's a lovely ballpark, a great place to take in a game. But I don't know. The problem is that you have to play such a different style there than anywhere else that it just creates a unique challenge to try to build something that's sustainable.
It's wild. I don't know if they're going to end up with the worst record of all time, but they're on pace. The Rockies 7-34. Scott Pianowski joining us tonight on the Pete Rose News. Scott, great to have you. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure, Nate.
Appreciate it. Great insight. Love having him. Scott Pianowski on tonight from YahooSports.com, Major League Baseball writer. Who's hot and who's not? There's a big recruiting story that just came out. You know Chad Greenway, right? Great Vikings player, South Dakota native. Another story in his family. That's coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
It was only a few in the beginning, one here, one there. I knew it was illegal, but I liked doing it. Even my kids noticed. There's nothing worse than your 10-year-old telling you you're breaking the law. But I didn't hit the breaking point until I hit that little kid.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Get set for a night of non-stop laughs as the Box Elder Event Center welcomes comedian Michael Palisak.
When I was in college, my parents relocated to Chicago, and I found them.
After being a finalist on Last Comic Standing and appearances on Stephen Colbert and Conan, he's coming to Rapid City Saturday, May 31st.
The closest thing we have to a gang is the Future Farmers of America.
Advance tickets are just $20 at thebox.live. Don't miss Michael Palisak at the Box Elder Event Center, Saturday, May 31st.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Lows level off around 55, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow, chance for storms, highs around 73. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night, chance for storms, lows dip down to about 48. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 68.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Hey, golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, let's do this tonight as we wrap up the Tuesday show. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, the Pizza Ranch. Sioux Falls, Brandon, 2 locations in Rapid City. Who's hot and who's not tonight? Here we go. Who's hot category is going to go to Chad Greenway's daughter again. His older daughter, a great player, basketball. They're great athletes. Madden, she's going to go play at Kentucky. Now the younger daughter, it's an 8th grader. She's in my Who's Hot category tonight. She just got her first college basketball offer from South Dakota State. South Dakota State has offered Chad Greenway's 8th grade daughter, Beckett, Congrats, Beckett. We'll see if she'll become a jackrabbit. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, it's all you guys saying the NBA lottery's rigged. It's not. See you tomorrow.
Consumers everywhere are loving the benefits of buying locally produced food. Not only is it fresher and more